Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for this is your August 2025 bonus reading. You have this card that says nothing is set in stone, and you have this card that says conclusions are within reach. So I kind of feel like something is finally coming to a conclusion with these two cards. It's like maybe something has been, up in the air, even though that's a water card. It doesn't matter. I read intuitively, and I feel like intuitively that, maybe something in your life has kind of been unpredictable or up in the air, and now you're finally getting to a conclusion, which is good. It kind of feels like answers to me here, Sag, as well. So if you've been like hoping to receive answers or to gain a better understanding on something in your life, it could be anything, then I feel that this could be you getting the answers that you've been waiting for. Could be love. I mean, you cannot make this up, Sagittarius. I mean, I'm almost positive you've been getting the King of Cups with me. You have the Queen of Cups and the Lovers. Like, are you kidding? Definitely could be love if you want it. And again, even if you don't want love, this is clearly talking about something that your heart belongs to, right? And so this could be like an idea, like a business idea, something you want to do with your life, or anything like that. And so I feel that you need to commit to whatever it is. You have the Seven of Wands as your first card. Now we're doing a Celtic cross, and the first card in the Celtic cross is like your current general energies. It's how you are entering into the month. And the Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says, when you know that when you believe something so deeply that there is no other way than for you to be successful, that's when you will truly be successful. And that's what the Seven of Wands says, is that, I think if you can commit to your heart to something at this time, that is the thing that will be the most successful for you. And again, it doesn't have to be love. And on top of all that, it could be love, but it could also be something else. It could be multiple things that you are deciding to commit your heart to this month. And, it looks really, really good. There's really nothing else to say about it. You have the Eight of Cups as your crossing energy. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. The Eight of Wands, the Eight of Cups is a card of needing to walk away from things that no longer serve you. And he has those 8 cups there. And those 8 cups do provide him with something. I always say that, the Eight of Cups is hard to walk away from, because those 8 cups do provide him with something. But, at the same time, he knows that he would be settling. And he's walking away from those 8 cups, and he has no clue what he is walking towards. A lot of readers say that he's walking towards the 9 of Cups, which could be true. But he doesn't know that, so when it comes up for us, this card, it can say that we are being asked to walk away from something where we don't know if we're going to find something better or not. And this is definitely something that happens during eclipses. And guess what? In September, we have the next set of eclipses starting. So, I think that really a lot of people could be walking away from things that no longer serve them, or people could be cutting things out. I would also think back to earlier this year when we had the last set of eclipses in March, because, there could be things that you're revisiting from that time, right now in August. So, definitely popping into my head with this card. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the King of Cups. Could be love, could be something that you do love. Again, we have the King and Queen of Cups. They're divine counterparts, but they're both very heart-based. They both really follow their emotions as well. So really, I would just say that this is an emotional connection for you here, Sagittarius. And again, it does not have to be love. You even have this card that says the Power of Purpose, which I'm pretty sure you had this card with me recently. And, this could just be you connecting your heart to your purpose, right? And so the King of Cups, he's sitting in these choppy waters, and the whole point of the King of Cups is that he's perfectly fine. He doesn't care what's going on around him. So, the card, sometimes that's what I feel about the King of Cups, is if nothing mattered, if there were no limits, and if money didn't matter, what would you be doing, right? And that's what he needs to decide with his heart. So, even if he didn't have the money to do something that he wants to do, he would say to himself, if nothing mattered, this is what I would do. And I think that's what you need to be thinking about here, Sagittarius. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I definitely would encourage you to do it. Like, even if you think something is impossible, I would encourage you to try, because he would. I also definitely feel there could be love. King and Queen of Cups here with the Lovers definitely could be a strong connection. You've been getting the King of Cups with me for a while. It doesn't have to be a water sign. It could just be a person who has very deep emotions, or, who really is tapped into their emotions, or whatever you want to call it. So, there you go. Next, you have the Two of Wands in the area of your foundation. Yeah, your foundation is changing. The Two of Wands is this guy here is standing at the top of his castle, but he has a whole world in his hands. And this wand stands on its own, and he's reaching forward and grabbing this new wand. So the Two of Wands can represent like stepping out into like a new world, or needing to step into a new world and needing to leave something that you've already built behind. And a lot of people have been getting this energy this month, which is very interesting. Like, really, as I always say, there's a big benefit for me reading you last, Sagittarius. You get the benefit of me finally figuring out what the energy is talking about, right, for the collective. And I think that the energy is trying to prepare people for these eclipses that are coming up here, soon enough. And I think the energy is trying to prepare people to like release one thing, to have something better, basically. And that's pretty much what I would be doing here. I think we could all be releasing something. Definitely Uranus and Gemini is a shakeup, is a big shakeup. I've been talking about this for years, how we're in a time of chaos until 2033. Uranus and Gemini is a big reason for that. Uranus officially leaves Gemini in 2033. It actually leaves in 2032, but it's for a very brief period of time before retrograding back into Gemini. So that's why I say 2033. But we're all going to be experiencing shakeups, like literally pretty much the day Uranus went into Gemini, for example, right? For me, it's my fourth house, right? And so the day that it, like literally almost the day that it moved in, my brother told me that he's moving out. We've lived together forever, basically, right? And he's moving in with his girlfriend. So his Pisces girlfriend. Why would, it's like you've already lived with one Pisces for like 36 years. Why would you want to do it with another one? I don't know, but whatever. And so anyway, that is very much Uranus and Gemini, right? So it can bring in these sudden shakeups, sudden changes, and things like that. The Two of Wands wants us to make these changes because it wants us to stretch and grow, and wants us to like do more things with our lives. And that's what I would be doing with this card. Next, in the area of your past, is the energy of what you're moving past. You have the Seeing Beyond card and this Power of Purpose card. Again, I'm pretty sure you've been getting these cards of like purpose with me here, Sag, for a while. So I do feel like a lot of Sagittarius people are kind of like discovering passions or things that they can be passionate about that could be part of their purpose. I would just be like, tapping into that energy and everything like that. The Seeing Beyond card is about seeing the future, literally. I feel that for a lot of people, that is something that will be returning probably mostly next year, but you could be feeling this now. We have Neptune and Saturn will be retrograding back into Pisces. And then, in January and February, Neptune moves back into Aries. February, Saturn moves back into Aries. I think this will actually make people more intuitive. And you might be saying, what the hell are you talking about? Neptune rules Pisces. I disagree. I've looked at a million Pisces charts. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, and to me, Jupiter is still the ruler of Pisces. I do not think Neptune rules Pisces. I think Neptune actually clouds our intuition. I think Neptune makes things unclear, just in general. And so I think that and again, this is just a theory I have, but I think that Neptune and Pisces is actually very confusing. Luckily, we will all be dead next time Neptune comes back to Pisces, so we never have to deal with it again. But right now, I think that there could be some clarity, even though we have a Mercury retrograde, because Neptune's still in Aries right now. And but that clarity could be coming back even stronger, like March of next year. So I would like trust what you're seeing for yourself here. I feel like you're on target, is what I feel like saying. Funny enough, you also have an Ace of Pentacles, which kind of looks like this card. Obviously there's two circles. Look at that. I know my shapes, Sagittarius, right? So we have these circles right here, right? I think that even though this is coming up in a past position, I feel like there could be opportunities that have a lot of potential coming in for you at this time. Or, there could be opportunities that basically are potential that are coming in for you with the Ace of Pentacles. So, even if something just seems like it only has potential, if it's part of your purpose, I think you need to like move towards it, is what this Ace of Pentacles is saying. I feel very good about money, even though this is coming up in the past position here, Sag. Anything new that you're doing money-wise, like literally anything new, I literally don't think it matters. You could be learning about money. You could be just studying your finances and getting better with your money. You could be canceling debts, fixing your debts, things like that, starting side hustles, starting businesses, anything. anything involving money is going to be good for you. So I would pick something and do it. Like maybe you want to learn about investing, right? Do it, right? And, as long as you're educating yourself. Again, I keep telling people it's a very lucky time, especially for you, Sagittarius, but you will screw yourself if you do not do your research. So it's lucky with one major caveat that we had Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus will spank you if you just decide, like, oh, my best friend told me that this new company is a great thing to invest in, so I'm just going to do it without doing your research. Uranus and Taurus will be like, nope, backhand, then you lose your money, right? So as long as you do your research, you'll be fine, right? Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this Lord card and this Merchant card. You could be attracting a lord or a lady here. It's like Game of Thrones or something like that going on in your life. So there you go. You could be attracting a fancy person, so sure. I also feel that this is good for money and taking control of your money and just in general. We have that Merchant card. I'm telling you right now, I've been saying this to you for the past couple weeks. If you're doing anything like starting businesses or side hustles or whatever, I see a lot of improvements in your finances coming from that. That Merchant card would be a very Sagittarian card. That Sagittarius energy is like dealing with, Sagittarius is already, long distance business and things like that, right? So, if you're dealing with any of that stuff, very good. Also, in your very near future, you have the Queen of Cups. Could be you, could be a person that you're attracting if you want love. So I do feel that you could be attracting someone. I feel like you could be attracting a very gentle person, like in a good way. Not like in a weak way, I feel like this is a good thing. I feel like you could be attracting a very heart-based person as well. In a lot of ways, it's like, I think you're going to have a lot of funny moments with this person as well. It's kind of popping into my head where it's like there might come a time, like, I don't know, I hate to say this, maybe not, but it's like there might come a time, this is what's popping into my head, where you might eventually have to realize that this person's always right. And so you could be attracting a person like that. It's like sometimes I think like heart-based people, it's like sometimes what they do maybe doesn't make sense if you're more logical or whatever, because they live from their heart. They live based off of feelings, right? And sometimes that doesn't make sense. You're all different, so this might be you. I'm not sure, but so someone might be admitting to you that you're always right, based off your heart. But I just get the feeling that this is the person that you're attracting. I feel like they're very heart-based. They might kind of live like in a little bit of a rebellious way, and I feel like to the outside world, it doesn't look like their life is stable, but I actually think it's extremely stable. I think it's better than what most people have, right? So there you go. Next, in your outcome row, you have this Being Chased card. It says anxiety, avoidance, and perceived threat. Yeah, I would, anything that doesn't seem right, trust it. Someone else had this message this month as well. I can't remember who it was, but, what I would say here is if, like, something doesn't feel right, trust it, right? You have this fear. It says anxiety, survival instincts, intuition. So trust your intuition. Like if something, again, if what I said to the other sign that this came up for, they didn't have these two cards, but they had something similar, is just like pay attention. If something doesn't feel right, if something tells you don't go down that road, don't go down that street, don't get in your car, put on your seatbelt, whatever, it's like, trust those messages that you're receiving. And also, trust in those spiritual flat tires that you could be receiving as well, right? And I think as long as you trust in those things, then things will go well for you. And so, yeah, there you go. Over the next few months, you have the Lovers. Now, a couple of things here. Definitely could be developing a very strong connection for those of you that want it. And this has come up for you for the past couple weeks, like all of a sudden, Sag. So it definitely makes sense. And, if you want love. This is Gemini, which is your opposite sign, though. So, again, you are definitely going to be dealing with that Uranus and Gemini energy. And, this could just be saying that you are dealing with that Uranus and Gemini energy. Again, Uranus and Gemini, it's a little chaotic, but at the same time, Uranus does love to be in Gemini. And, we have the ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So, again, Uranus is perfectly happy being in Gemini. So, is it going to be terrible? No. I think globally it's going to continue to look like chaos, and it's probably only going to get worse. But although not really, like I don't get too excited, right? We're going to see some crazy shit, and mark my words. I said on a podcast a while ago, if aliens are going to land, it's going to be like the end of this year, right? Or the very beginning of next year, when Neptune is kind of like moving back into Aries there. That's kind of like my prediction, the end of this year, beginning of next year by February, right? So, although they're already here, like, it's already happened, but still, that's my prediction, right? But we're going to see some wild stuff happening over the next few years. Mark my words, things you never thought you would see. And yeah, I just think we have to kind of, adapt to the new world. And, I think this energy could be encouraging you to do that. I think this card is also saying Spirit has your back. This is your higher self angel right here. And so, it's also crazy to me that so many people for the past couple months have been getting cards that basically say Spirit has your back. Literally in the tea leaf oracle, which we're going to use in a minute, and some of the other decks I use, they all have a card that basically says Spirit has your back. So there's nothing to worry about. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Hermit. Yes, obviously, if you want love, you're going to have to make yourself available. You're going to have to you're going to have to get attention from a person here, Sag. And so, yeah, the Hermit says you can't stay in hermit mode. You have to get out in public, or you have to, you have to flirt, or you have to talk or something, right? So that's that. Number 2, not always a bad thing, though. Again, this area of the reading, the closest relationships, it represents all relationships in your life. And so some of you, it's a Mercury retrograde month. Maybe you just want to chill out. Maybe you just want to work on yourself or something like that behind the scenes. That's perfectly fine, right? To me, the Hermit is a perfectly fine card for Mercury retrograde because it just says maybe you just want to work on yourself, which is fine. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, feeling a little bit of chaos. As I've told you in some of the past readings, I would be doing things like writing down your ideas, even just verbal diarrhea on paper, right? It's like if your mind is racing, sometimes when my mind does that, like if I'm thinking about anything, and if my thoughts are getting carried away, I just write it down. It's like you're putting it outside of your body when you put it on a piece of paper, right? And it's something like, I'm not even a great writer, but it's something that has changed my life. So, it's definitely an activity. I just write whatever's on my mind. I don't think, don't think, just write and get it out of your body. And I think that if that will help slow things down for you, if you are experiencing this rushing energy, which everybody's probably feeling with, it's like a sense of urgency. I think that part of me feels that with Uranus and Gemini, especially because it's going to be affecting you more than most people because it's your opposite sign, other than Gemini, it's like I think it could be making you feel like you are missing out on something, or it's like that sense of urgency feeling. And again, I think writing things down or getting things out of your body would be a really good idea. Your outcome is a 6 of Cups, which is pretty good. 6 of Cups is a very playful, childlike connection. I do feel like you could be attracting a very playful, childlike connection if you want love. It's like two weirdos in a good way. It's like, I don't know, the Addams Family or something. I don't know. It's like Morticia or whoever her husband is, right? In that the Addams Family movie is kind of like what's popping into my head. So you could be attracting a person like that where you're just weird together, which is great. I think those are the best connections, right? Where you don't care what anyone else thinks. So there you go. 6 of Cups is also encouraging to be more playful. And now, one thing I do say a lot is that my concern, and I've been saying this since 2023, is that my concern is that what I used to say in 2023 is that over the next decade, people are just going to worry about every little thing that's going on. And then we're going to get to 2033, and people are going to look back on the last 10 years, and they're going to be like, oh my God, all I did was worry, and I didn't get anything done when there was nothing to worry about, right? And so I think the universe is asking people to chill out and just to realize, yeah, we're in a time of change. Yeah, there's crazy stuff going on, but we have perfect control over our own lives if we choose to, and that's what I would be doing, is controlling your own life. With the 7 of Wands and the 8 of Cups, you have the Queen of Swords. A lot of clarity. This Mercury retrograde, in particular, it has been one that seems to be bringing in a lot of answers and clarity for people, which is great. Very much a good thing. So I would trust what you're seeing, but could be a lot of clarity. With the King of Cups, you have the Fool. Definitely, this could be needing to take a leap of faith towards a person, is what I would say. I'm not going to lie here either, Sagittarius. I feel like this is someone who is completely different than you think, even. But not in a bad way. I feel it's a very fun person. It's this to me, I feel if you're attracting a person, it's yeah, I think maybe you're attracted to a person and you think that they're good, but I think they're better than you think, which is great. It's there's more, it just seems to me like you're attracting a person who has a lot going on, in life, meaning they're not a boring person, which is a good thing. So I kind of get that energy here. I kind of feel for some of you that you'll be following this person, right? It's this person might be kind of the captain of the ship, so to speak, right? And I don't know if that's very PC or feminist or whatever, but whatever, I don't care. And so, but I do think this person kind of like does their own thing. And so it's like, I'm not saying you're like going to be under this person's thumb or something like that, but it's like, I don't know, I just think they're doing their own thing. And I think maybe you could be attracting the type of person who's like, it's like, they'll just be like, I'm going to go do this thing. You can come or not. It's like there's no pressure. But, at the same time, I think they're, they're kind of like moving forward. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There you go. With the Two of Wands, you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is conflict and competition. I think it's an amazing time to look at the competition. I literally say this to basically everyone. And mostly because, guess what? Everybody gets this card and has been. But it is an amazing time to look at the competition and see what they're doing, what they're not doing, what you can do better. And so I think paying attention to what's being done in life is very powerful with the Five of Wands. And that's exactly what I would do here. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands can be a card of conviction and commitment, right? So the Four of Wands is a card of marriage, but the Four of Wands is really a card of freedom and committing to something that will set you free. So if you're getting any new opportunities in your life with the Ace of Pentacles, I would commit to those new opportunities because I feel like these new opportunities will probably set you free. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Hermit. Like maybe both people here are in Hermit mode, so obviously someone's going to have to speak up. But this could also be you needing to leave Hermit mode. Like maybe you need to get out in public. Maybe you need to, get attention in some way. But I definitely would. With the Lovers, you have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, like I feel like you need to realize that this is going to be different. Like some of you could be trying to change your love story. Nine of Swords, like Groundhog's Day. It's like having a nightmare, waking up, and being stuck in a nightmare. So it's like having the same nightmare over and over and over again. But I feel like this is part of your story that you're being given the opportunity to change. He is in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. So this card basically says that you have to be willing to, create change in your life. And that's what I would do with that card. With the Hermit, you have the Hangman. Hangman is about needing to get out of Hangman mode. Sometimes. I don't think that's always true because I don't necessarily look at the Hangman as a bad card, but I do feel it's time for you to start moving forward here, Sagittarius. He's gained enlightenment. That's why I say that. He's hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. His head is glowing, which means that he has gained all the answers he needs to move forward in his life, to find success or to, attract or get the things that he wants, right? And so I think some of you need to believe that. Number one, that you can get what you want. And I think that a lot of you need to also realize that it's like time to move forward. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Lovers again. Are you kidding? It's like someone is rushing into your life here for sure. I wouldn't rush, but I don't know. Sometimes when you know, And it's kind of like hard to, not rush, not move into something too quickly, right? And so that's what I would say there. I think that it could be something that moves quickly. It could be a Gemini. You could be attracting your opposite sign here. With the Six of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yes, literally says you have to be more childlike. The Page of Wands, he follows his enthusiasm. If he's excited about something, then he decides to move towards it, right? He makes it happen. So I think a lot of you need to be more playful, childlike, willing to explore, follow your enthusiasm, all that other stuff. You have this Vine card. It says, seek out information that will help you. Yes, I think that there could be a lot of news or information. There could be a lot of information that could help you be successful in the future. So I feel a lot of you need to do your research. We're in a good time for research. You have this February card and this Pale card. It says time to get out of a situation. It kind of makes sense because, again, we will have Neptune and Aries, Neptune and Saturn moving back, will by February both be back in Aries by the end of February. I've heard some astrologers say that we basically have to make decisions right now, as in already, like a couple of weeks ago, that, if there are things that we wanted to do in life that we really kind of had to decide already. I don't think that's true. I think that what is true is that we have until February, right? Basically really March. And although, again, don't wait. And so if there are changes you want to make those changes now because you're really going to want to get those things set in stone. You have this kangaroo card. It says unsettled times, need to plan ahead. Again, we are going to see a lot of crazy stuff. Mark my words. Mark my words. I've been talking about it for weeks. We're in a crazy time. So, we're going to see things we never thought possible. and we're going to see things that we never thought we would, period. We're going to think that we're seeing one thing and we're actually going to be seeing something else. So, it's just like one of those times, right? You have this bag. It says something important, such as a new job or a race. Yes, money looks very good for you, Sag. You have this mule card that says someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. I would be careful of stubborn people at this time in general, so, that's definitely popping into my head as well. But this looks pretty good, Sag. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.